Beginning the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Schulte, here. Mr. Loring, here. Mr. Helmers, here. Mr. DeBoer, here. I am here.
Morning.
First item, we would look at approval for today's agenda, November 12th.
Changes?
I don't have any.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
A motion from Schulte and support from DeBoer for approval of today's agenda as it was presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Next, we would look at October 28 minutes provided previously.
I'd make a motion to accept those minutes.
A motion from Helmer, support from Loring to accept the minutes as presented for October 28. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. We want to discuss about builder's risk insurance extension coverage.
It's in there,
Print that out or not?
the second page is a quote, no. Right there.
There we go.
So it'd be about $4,000 more if we extend it out until October. You guys, Bill said there's potential that if we did do it now, we don't need it, we could get part of our premium back. Or we could wait until next time, but you couldn't guarantee the premium amount.
So if we didn't need it till October, then we'd get some money back.
Yes, didn't you say all but
We would retain
10%?
10%.
They would keep 10%. Everything else would be,
Keith, what are your thoughts on that? Can I ask?
So this is in case the project goes long, right?
Yeah.
I would pay for it until you did it. It's our project.
That we would or wouldn't?
We would not. We would go with assuming that the schedule stays on schedule.
I agree with Keith.
I would
I
do.
was wondering why it was 22,443.71 to begin with, and that's what we had in the minutes we approved.
then that's additional $4,000, we would just need to pay an additional $4,000 difference between what we
Top of this 26.
no,
Yeah.
just,
No.
well,
22,000 originally.
originally, and then it would
Got
be another,
increased to 26.
if we did with the builder's risk, it'd be an additional $4,000 to make it that 26,000. Does that make sense?
when that building is up, wouldn't our regular insurance step up then?
I don't believe so, not until you have a certificate of occupancy.
But we can always add to it if we have to, if it does go long, right? That's the way I understood the.
That's how I took Bill too. He just couldn't guarantee the premium amount.
I make a motion, we wait till we need it.
Support that.
We have a motion from Helmers and support from Loring to not accept the new quote with extended coverage and wait until if we would need extension coverage. Further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Next, we have department heads. Schulter, Becky, do you want to start?
Well, I sent out delinquent notices last week, the week before, so we're getting some more taxes in yet. Sarah's been busy with her exam and drive, so we're just staying busy with motor vehicle and still tax payments, I guess.
Recorder.
Right, we've been busy with lots of hunting license come through. We've had a few non-residents, which we don't get a lot of, but we've gotten quite a few already this year. And we're busy with renewals for your orbs and your snowmobiles. They're due December 31st, and you can renew them anytime now. And we met as department heads, and we wondered if we could ask you guys just to consider something just this year. Since Christmas is on Thursday on the 25th, we were wondering if maybe we could have the 26th off, just because we have a lot of family home, and it would just be for this year. We just wondered if you guys would maybe consider that. We don't need an answer today or anything, but we
You have Christmas Eve off,
do.
23rd.
24th.
24th.
So you want to switch it from the 24th?
Because we're cooking like crazy on the
Do you want to skip the 4th of July? Do you want to skip the 4th of July?
Sure.
Or even the 31st, we talked
Yeah, we talked about, like,
Not-
usually get off
at 1.
on the 31st. I think that. That's just for this year that we're asking.
Just the way it felt.
Yeah, just.
We've done it in the past, we've had the 26th off before, but. Just a thought.
Yeah, just about.
Oh, this is just a thought.
A nice thought.
I would say add it to our meeting agenda for the 25th, would be my thought.
It's just a couple weeks to think about it.
All right. Anything further? Attorney?
Yes, both assistants attended cartel training last month. It was in October. I'm attending the Iowa County Attorney Association training this weekend, Sunday. Gonna go see my kids a couple days before that, so driving all the way, because Cedar Rapids and Des Moines are a lot closer than here in Cedar Rapids. So, and also, Bev from Sioux County is planning on coming up and helping us implement a collections program, because Sioux County is considered the gold standard for using Carpel and the collections program. So we're gonna get a new collections program going and doing it right. So we're excited about that.
Not a lot going on in the flooding update. Things are still kind of stuck in FEMA. Still waiting on a couple projects to get kicked loose. Our asphalt project for the year wrapped up. Looks good out there. The striping's all done. They came in, got everything done sooner than we expected, so that was great with the snow that happened. M10 bridge, there's still no movement on that grant, that federal grant that we're waiting on. From a zoning standpoint, we do have another variance request for a solar array, basically a setback request along Highway 60 north of Ashton. That'll be going to board of adjustment next week. Snow, our nothing snow of 1 to 2 inches became a 5-inch snow. It was pretty nasty out there this last weekend, but we got it taken care of. The skid steer has now been turned over to Reggie. That was the one that we jointly purchased with the courthouse. So now Reggie has that for the rest of the winter. Our Thomas Pitt gravel mining starting late, but it is starting. We hope to get about 10,000 ton put up, just so we have it for the spring, and then they'll finish doing their mining in the spring. And then other than that, our staff will be at the engineers conference the first week of December. That's what's going on.
So, sir.
Michael Sherry, finished driving the county. We've been through all the towns, and when the leaves get off the trees, we'll go out and take pictures as needed, and just working on 2026 values.
Conservation.
So for the snow, we got out, sprayed all of our parks and some thistles out in the wildlife management areas. We did have a local county resident that generously donated some spruce trees to us. So a couple days last week, moving Halsey in from just south of Sibley into the new campground. The bathrooms at Ashton, Melvin, and Hawkeye Point have been winterized and are closed for the season. And lately, I've been spending a lot of time working on the Destination Iowa Grant closeout stuff. We've got a site visit scheduled for November 19th.
Sheriff.
We just finishing up our annual qualifications on CPR and handgun qualifications, rifles and shotguns. Last week we had a couple guys in Sioux City taking a 3-day course on drug detection in vehicles and how to search vehicles and try to find the drugs better. Today I got 2 guys in Rock Valley. They're taking a drunk driving refresher course on detection of drunk driving.
Detection, that's a good word. Economic development?
I got a phone call tomorrow with the firm I hired to do our county housing needs assessment, so we'll be looking at getting a meeting set up. I will reach out to all of you and then to the city leadership to get to that meeting. Still working to expand childcare and find us a dentist. Working with the Historical Society on county marketing and promotional stuff, hoping to have some things done by the spring. And then the Community Foundation grant application window is open until December 12th. So if you can let people know, and it's going to be more competitive this year since we gave Ocheeden $50,000. So that's that many grants that we won't have to award this year. That's everything.
Auditor.
We got through the election. It went really good. We got 33% turnout, which is pretty good for a city school election. We got through that fine. I was telling people, I got a call from the Des Moines Register last week. We had the highest write-ins in all the counties in the state of Iowa. So you want an article on that. Not much to tell. It is what it is. Now we're getting ready to do our financial reports. The audit they're done here. Not done, but they're done. And then I'm working on TIFs and valuations. So that time of year, and budgets will be starting.
All right. Thank you all. Mr. Helmer has provided some pretty darn good looking brownies, it seems, so help yourselves.
Worked all night on those.
They're good.
So are you saying they're only good looking or they're good tasting too?
They're
If you did
Rochelle's
them.
recipes.
Oh,
They got
fair.
They gotta be good.
Anybody want one?
Nick will take one of them, won't you?
Yes, I will. Somebody's gotta be first. That's okay, it's all right. Can I call you this afternoon
Yeah.
at some point?
Papers, back page, consider Rochelle served, or?
What's that?
A good time.
1 o'clock.
Anybody else want one?
Show my age, aren't I?
Bill, you want one?
Afternoon visitors of so and so. We got 9 o'clock is the time to canvass the city school election. Consider drawing lots for City of Cheaton's mayor's race. Consider approval of election costs.
You ready, you want one?
Yeah, as long as you're serving.
Anybody else want one while it's serving?
Thank you. Are you saying only one or just one to
You can have
start?
as many as you want.
I'm good, so after you guys are all gone, I'll have 2.
How about you, sure. Thank you.
I need a napkin. Okay, thank you.
I need one.
Hi, guys.
Saw her twist your arm.
Twisted my arm, did you? Turn down for show.
Well done, Jerry.
Thanks.
Take one later. So, the canvas, a little history. Ochean Mayor Jewel Garms ran or won the write-in vote, but she also won the council member seat, so she was a winner of 2 positions. She can only accept 1 position, and of course, she had to accept the council because she filed nomination papers for that. So then, after a lot of calls with Secretary of State's office, and they're still getting some more clarifications, we had to go to since she's ineligible to win the mayor, we had to go to the next vote getter, which was Kerry Glade. He had 5. We have to canvass the election as is, but I already received his resignation papers. So then the next 2, so there's 2, Arlen Pedley and Dustin Glade got the next votes, and they each had 2, so that's why we have to draw lots. And if they resign, then we go down to the next ones. We had 4 that had 1 vote. And if none of them won it, then it's a vacancy. So then then the city of Ochean will have to either appoint or have a special election, which I'm sure they'll appoint. So we'll see. I haven't talked to Arlen, but I already know his. I talked to Dustin Glade this morning and gave him the possibility, and he didn't indicate either way what his feelings were. So we have to canvass as is first, and then we'll have to, whatever name we draw, we'll have to get our new canvas material ready so we can sign that today. And then see what happens.
Vacancy, if nobody was interested, would be declared after everyone's turned it down, or
Mhm,
in
yep.
January when
Nope,
the term ends?
No, when everybody turns it down. And if no one comes forward. I mean, there's processes. If Jewel is interested in mayor, not council, then she could, not take the oath of office in January, then that would be a vacancy for council, and then they could possibly appoint her, but then there's a process. You gotta have you gotta have notices, the board the council has to have their intent, gonna appoint or have a special election, and, there's a process. It's just not as simple as one would hope it would be, but if one of those candidates take it, then there's not a problem, but if they don't, then we have a problem. We're good with Sibley, the write-ins for Sibley, they want it, so it's just Ochean Mayor that we have to.
Can we appoint Mike?
I think you got council seat, I think. You got nominations, but not for mayor. But that's just kind of the heads up for that. So these are those who have voted. So
Those left in order,
yeah, those certificates you have to sign after you guys approve the canvas, so. But we don't want to sign no cheating because we'll have to change that, but I have to wait till that after we get the canvas. I did an audit report, Ashton precinct for mayor, and that turned out as the same as a machine, so we're good there, so. And the Pebble did not pass, so the school can have another special election in March.
How many tries can they?
Well, March is the last time before then they can't levy for it for 26, 27.
Did they officially do that?
No, I'm just saying that's next potential time they could have a special
Well,
would be
they
March.
sound like they are.
Oh, no, I don't know what they're doing.
They hadn't talked about it yet, obviously.
Yeah, that's just potentially the next one is in March, if they decide to do so.
Oh, we could take the mayor's place.
No way.
I've seen the job, I've lived the job.
Because he was mayor for 20 years, right?
20 years and 8 years council before that. It's beyond time.
Felt bad for May City, they only had 12 people vote. Mayor open. I know. And 3 of them were the people that worked. Long day for them. Another new thing too, for all the newly elected candidates, they have to take an hour to 2-hour open meetings law class. That's the new law change as of July 1st, so all the candidates will be informed of that.
Is that something that just sit on the computer or?
Yeah, it's an IPEB thing, open records.
We all should be at the community center Saturday morning for coffee.
Yeah, there you could, yeah. You could. They probably don't do it on Saturday though, I'm guessing. Probably not a bad idea, just to familiar yourself then with chapters 21 and 22.
First time her name's there. I wish my son had been one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Started.
Yeah. When you get to Ochine, I need that back a minute. You need, I'll look down a minute before you do any more. Please. I need this here, be back a minute. So what are they, just, they don't know what they're doing at this
I don't
point?
think they didn't meet with the surgeons last week.
Just cry. Just cry.
Didn't they post it, would they were coming home and they come back because of the.
I hope they can go to Disney World, or, you know, if that's what she wants to do, I hope they can get there and. Just think, you know, that's my granddaughter's age. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh.
Tumor was pushing on her.
Airway or something. Yeah. Her list gets longer every day. I need to write it down so I don't forget somebody. Are they moved into their new place then?
I think so.
Okay.
Are we interested in giving approval to the canvass of the city school election?
Make that motion.
Second.
The motion from Schulte, support from DeBoard to give approval to the canvass of the city school election. Any discussion? Is there any special wording that's needed for the drawing of the mayor?
No, that'd be a separate motion.
Any- No further discussion. Those in favor of approval of the canvass signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay. Now would we need to, by motion, do anything for considering drawing lots for the city of Ocheden's mayor race?
No, since I received the resignation, then we just have to draw lots for the next position.
Okay. How far down do we get to go?
Well, we're gonna do these, there's two that have, they got 2 write-ins, so we're gonna do that, and then we got 4 that has 1 write-in, so we're gonna just draw them all now and
Okay.
see what we need. Who wants to draw?
Who represents Ocheiden?
That'd be Jeff.
That's the chair's answer.
Jeff,
Who's
you?
elected by Ocheiden?
I hope I don't get our
Dustin Glade. And then Arlen. And then we're gonna, Dustin is 1, Arlen is 2.
So they will be contacted in that order. Should neither be willing to serve, we are
Well,
going to draw for those that received 1 vote.
Yeah, we are going to get new paperwork since I already have his, so we're gonna change it to Dustin as the winner
Sign underneath here. or-
until he
Hello.
decides not to. Okay.
Sure.
Or you can sign up here.
Now what's this for?
For the mayor too, if those 2 don't want it, then we're gonna go down the line. Okay, he's 1.
Is that?
Corey Basma. Both of you don't have to go down, but let's see. Doug Black. He's all got one.
I think someone.
Travis Hokie, and John Albers. Okay. I'm gonna tell him to change the paperwork for Dustin then.
Appreciated your email the other day. Made sense, and I'll bring it up when I get to that, but my only thought was the state's gonna fund schools whenever that process gets used. So if the county thinks it's the best interest for their needs, they don't have the 3Ms and the GMs knocking on their door to come. I mean, it lets people at the table that don't have many opportunities compared to bigger. But yeah, I'm not trying to twist things. Just, hey, this is what we got. What can we do? Yeah. And I move more towards it. She's moving with their tip area. So what are we going to do with this one? Just go away. I'm not saying this is what has to be done. Okay, election costs as part of that. Do we have a total of the cost to approve?
Yep, that should be in your thing.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a sheet there with the election costs.
Then that's split out between the schools, cities, and area schools.
The total costs are $15,000.54, and she has the breakdown of how that will be, or how it was acquired and
Right.
divided up amongst the schools and the cities appropriately. Okay, any interest in giving approval to election costs?
Make the motion.
I would support that.
We have a motion from Loring and support from Helmers for approval of the election costs as shared. Any further discussion on that item? With none, those in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign.
These have to be signed too.
Anything further we need to be informed of or discuss on elections? You
Not that I know
got us
of.
up to speed.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, moving back up, we would look at consider approval of resolution number 4, 2526, operating transfers from the 2017 CFE project fund to the CFE TIF P&I fund. This is just tied to when we can make payments or just
Yeah,
the schedule that
we have interest due December 1, so I'm transferring money in there to make those payments. Or make that payment. The other ones are just gonna do it one time because we don't
have
anything to pay up.
semi-annual agreement.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they got paid, I'm just not transferring until one transfer instead of doing it twice, and Dave said I could do that because, I mean, this is the only one that we need to make principal and payment interest on.
Need a motion for that?
And if we want to approve it, yes.
I would make a motion for resolution number 4.
Support.
We have a motion for approval of resolution number 4, 2526, the operating transfer. Any further discussion on that item? Hearing none. Mr. Helmers, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Schulte?
Aye.
Mr. Loring? Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
And I vote aye. We've got our engineer with us for a few items. First one listed is approval of right-of-way purchase for the F10 bridge project. Got that in front of it?
Talk about it.
Behind those papers, maybe?
Mr. Chair, board members. This F10 project, that's the project on Pierce Avenue, south of town here. We've had a couple of right-of-way acquisitions over the last couple of months. This is the final right-of-way acquisition, all under the same premise, the same price per acre. The property owner also has signed all the paperwork, has accepted. This one includes both a sliver of permanent easement right-of-way and then a temporary construction easement. But as I said, it's the same cost per acre and everything is the same as the previous ones, so I would recommend approval of this purchase as well.
We have a motion for approval of the right-of-way purchase for this project.
I'll make that motion.
Supported.
We have a motion from Helmers, support from Loring for approval of the right-of-way purchase for the F10 bridge project as presented by the engineer. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of approval signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We also have approval of the F10 bridge project plans for consideration.
Yes. Chair, now that we have right-of-way approval of the project, that was the final clearance for this project, so plans are in order and no changes are necessary. So plan approval is required by the board for the DOT to run the project. This project, as I mentioned in the my report to the board, is tied under that CHBP grant with the bridge just east of Lake Park there, that first bridge in the dip where you can see where they didn't actually pave the concrete over this last summer. That project was resubmitted to the feds. We haven't heard anything with the state of the federal government and things like that, shutdowns and things like that. I don't expect a lot of movement on that for a while. We were hoping that it gets done in time to go out to bid this winter so that we can get it for the next spring. If worse comes to worse and the whole thing falls apart and we don't get the grants or the grants are not done, we do have enough money in our HBP account, which is where this project was residing before we tried to go for this grant. So it's still good to get the plans approved, have the project teed up, ready to go. We get the grant, it's great. We pay about $200,000. If we don't get the grant, it's about $1 million bridge that we have budgeted for.
Interesting motion to approve the project plans for the F10 bridge.
Make the motion.
Support.
Motion from Loring, support from Schulte for approval of the F10 bridge project. Thanks for that explanation and the approach you're taking. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We would next look at the proposed county 5-year plan for the DOT. Consider its approval.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is an amendment to the current fiscal year's program. We have two projects that need some adjustment. The first project is a bridge overlay project south of town here by Schnepp's Lumber. We had that project budgeted for $250,000. Current cost estimates are kicking it closer to $300,000. We want to basically put in the program $350,000 so we have enough money to let the project without any issues. The second project is the Poet Bridge. That bridge was in last year's fiscal program with the assumption that FEMA was going to cut it loose and we were going to bid it last year. However, we did know that the majority of the expenses and payments were going to be in this fiscal year. So the budget is actually in this fiscal year in terms of our road budget, but it still sits in last year's program. The DOT is recommending that we bring that project forward from FY25 into the current fiscal year. The programmed amount has not changed. It's just record keeping for the DOT so that they're total statewide program is more accurate. So with that, if you have to answer any other questions about the two projects.
Interest in action on that, gentlemen?
Motion. Support.
A motion from DeBoer, support from, or motion from Schulte, support from DeBoer to proceed with the proposed county 5-year plan amendment as presented on the Poet Bridge and the Schneff Bridge. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We have potential update, or consider an update to the MOU, secondary roads MOU.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the MOU that we have with the secondary roads is a kind of a holdover from whenever they were at one time a unionized workforce that was given up years ago. The last time the MOU was updated was last year. This year, I'm asking for an update to address dealing with compensatory time, comp time. The county's normal handbook does include comp time. However, the way comp time works in the county handbook is once comp time is earned, it has to be used within 30 days with possibility of an extension. In terms of how our operations work, the bulk of the ability for our employees to earn comp time is going to be essentially over the winter months while they're plowing snow. If we do that and we work with them on comp time, then what we're looking at is everybody then trying to use their comp time, February, March, and pretty much we're going to have almost our entire workforce trying to use comp time. We'll have nobody to work. So what I am suggesting is that we remove that 30-day restriction in the MOU, so allow them to have a customized way to use comp time. What I'm proposing is that we would not have a sunset date on when they can use comp time, but they would only be able to carry a maximum of 40 hours of comp time at any given time. So we're not going to have this large amount of comp time on the books. So that would give us the flexibility and the employees the flexibility to use the time throughout the year. If they accumulated 40 hours of comp time, then they would not have the option to receive comp time, but they would have to receive time and a half pay at that point. That's the main issue that I have brought forward. As always, when you start cracking open the MOU, you start finding things and typos and things like that. One of the things that I am also clarifying the language on was there was some confusion amongst some staff, especially some of the newer employees, in terms of how they earn their vacation time and when they accrue it. They felt that the language could be interpreted that when you say a 2-year employee gets so many weeks of vacation, that they thought that started during the beginning of year 2, and we are having to clarify with them, no, you have to have worked a full 2 years before you now earn that 2-year rate. So I've simply strengthened that language so it's clear that your accrual rate occurs after your anniversary of fully working that year. But we haven't changed how those accrual rates work. There was another thing where, as I looked at the language on sick leave and possible abuse of sick leave, I found it very specific, and so specific that it would be easy to make sure you don't hit that issue to be enforced. So I pulled some of the specifics out of that, whereas before it was you have to have so many absences within a 6-month period to be considered abuse. Well, you could abuse right up to 5 months and then not abuse it and start your clock over. So I basically have said, if there's a pattern of abuse, we will take action. And then the only last thing I did was, based on what happened this past year, with how we've been working with the CDL issue, I wanted to take away the hard language in the CDL issue and leave it more up to our discretion on how we deal with someone not maintaining their CDL, which was a recommendation of Jack Reed that we change that language. So other than that, there is no other changes to the MOU. So the main issue is that would change the policy, would be the compensatory time and how we deal with that. Otherwise, it's strengthening language and clarifying other aspects of the MOU.
On the CDL one, moving is to can be is may be better than can be.
I can use the term may.
I think a lot of state code is may and shall versus.
Okay, I can
can,
change
but-
that to may. Same thing, but I agree it typically more how things are worded in code, I guess.
And your thoughts on the compensatory time at maximum of 40 years, or 40 hours, they could carry that for years. It's
They
just
could.
that while they have 40, they can't accumulate more or.
Well,
So-
once they hit 40, then they, so,
Paid out as
so compensatory time is an option. If we direct them to work overtime, they are getting overtime, time and a half pay. At the employee's discretion, they can say, instead of time and a half pay, I'd prefer to have 1.5 hours of comp time. Older employees, or I say more tenured employees, who have more vacation time, for them, they've already said, I'll just take the pay, I don't need any more time, I'm trying to burn the time I have. Newer employees struggle sometimes to have enough leave to deal with family issues or things like that. So they find compensatory time more valuable to them than pay. And there are other jurisdictions around that, do comp time as well.
Just wrestling with it some, is there value to bringing that down on an annual basis at some point? Rather than just always leaving it at 40, at their anniversary of employment or beginning of fiscal year, down to 20, but otherwise you can carry over 40 as it's attained throughout the year. I don't want to create a hassle either, but I kind of hate the thought of a bunch of employees possibly carrying 40 and then all of a sudden getting hit in a budget year where it gets cashed out that you couldn't plan for well, but.
In terms of cashing
Probably.
it out, it's part of the regular pay. It's not really they're just drawing it from it, but it's not an additional amount of money I have to budget for unless an employer leaves service. They would get that on leaving service. And that's very infrequent.
I'm just saying, in a budgeted year where you would have paid time and a half overtime, but it gets put to compensatory time and then moves into the next year, you may be paying that time and a half and the compensatory time.
Well, I wouldn't pay the time and a half if they turned it.
If they're doing compensatory time, it just be.
Every hour and a half they take as compensatory time is an hour and a half less overtime they pay.
Well, not necessarily. If they have a heavy snow year and they're gaining more compensatory time, then they're forced to use overtime because they can't go beyond the 40 that they're at the max, and then they draw on that.
But I would have
And
paid
40
them.
hours per employee probably isn't
We
problematic in the scheme of the budget. That was just a concern I'd had. Is there potential to create a hardship?
Well, as it stands right now, we don't do compensatory time because of this issue. So every hour of overtime would be paid time and a half, regardless of how much they would, because everyone right now has 0 compensatory time.
So you haven't started the comp time yet?
We have not.
I wanted it years ago.
Shouldn't have been in the union.
It was recognized that we don't use it, but it wasn't brought to my attention as a request by the staff until this year. No one had requested me to look into the issue until this year.
So if they have over 40 hours on the books, then can they get paid it out, or do they have to use
They
it?
have to draw it. The only way to get it paid out is to leave service.
So they would have to take the actual days off instead of getting paid out for those, okay.
Unless we do a semi-annual or payout type thing. Places that do that don't usually pay it all out, they pay it down to a certain amount. Again, to keep a lower amount of liability on the books.
That's what
Like
this
they'll say you
says.
have to pay it down to 30 hours or something at the fiscal year. But with only allowing a max of 40 for carrying, I feel I needed that complication.
So have we not been operating properly by not allowing compensatory time before, if it was in the handbook, or did the MOU supersede
The MOU is
that?
silent about, the MOU is silent about compensatory time without this modification. So the county's policy would apply, which is.
It was always available to them, it
You
just
have to
wasn't.
use it within 30 days, it was not being used.
Okay.
I do not know why it was not being used. It's possible that the county handbook has a discretion of department head line in there. I have to review that. I think it does. Okay, yeah.
I mean, we're on the schedule to have it, our policy reviewed in end of next year, or starting in January. We'll see.
If Jack weighed in on his language to
That was
maybe
Jack's
language, was he,
which language?
the CDL?
That was his recommendation after
Did
last
he weigh in
year.
on the compensatory time, or did you
No,
work
I have
with him on
not,
that at all?
I have not
Okay.
pushed story time to him.
So understandably, this would likely create a strong case that the handbook would need to change to something like this, or we'd be pushed to consider something like that on a broader scope, but.
It could. I mean, I really think that the handbook may work for a courthouse employee type situation, but with us, the preponderance of overtime by 20 people or 16 people all the same month or 2 months is what creates the issue for us in trying to then draw from it in 30 days. I don't see courthouse staff working a lot of overtime.
It'd be Reggie or my office with election.
During elections, yes,
Yeah.
it'd be a good thing for election.
And Reggie.
But then again, your elections are at fixed times, which means your staff would all be trying to use that within 30 days of the election day. So it's possible that, yes, you may want to address that in the overall. This may create a template for that.
Do you think about it, Mike, good or bad, or?
I think it's good. Like I said, it's a fall short for the newer employees. I mean, both husbands and wives have jobs. We've had guys struggle with family leave or not family leave. They've been taking downtime, no pay at all, because they have to stay home with kids. This will help, things like that.
And they're using that 5 hours or 5 days per year they get. That's a bus out there.
Yes. So, I mean, it's not just so that they can go play or work somewhere else. It's a lot of family issues is what it helps out.
How would you word a motion? How would you word a motion?
Approve an update to the MOU as presented with the text change as recommended.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll make the text change and bring it right back.
A motion from Schulte, support from Loring to consider the updates to the secondary roads MOU. That includes the discussed item here. Any further discussion on what was presented in the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Next item is.
Thank you.
Identifies approval of U.S. Army Corps of Engineers right of entry with Osceola County.
I got that from Spencer.
This is
one of the
relative
steps.
to the wetland we've been working with ISG on. I've seen this. I don't know why I didn't ask if our county attorney would review it, but for drainage, we do use a different attorney. I don't know what would be appropriate. But
See if I missed any on that one.
I'm guessing Dawn hasn't reviewed it.
No, she has not.
Provided by ISG.
I never gave that a thought. I apologize.
You need to sign.
Where did this come from?
Spencer sent that to me from
You
ISG.
approached him about it, or?
Yeah, I think this is the final step for this wetland, and then that mat from Idols, right? Yeah, Idols.
So if we don't let them in, what does that mean?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Spencer mentions that they're setting a pre-application meeting with the Army Corps to discuss any permit requirements from them. Guessing if they don't meet with them and getting the answer of whether they need to get permits or not, probably going to be a red flag to the Corps. Could potentially be an issue either way, whether it's adequate or not adequate project.
I could see if Spencer's available to talk. I don't. You guys had questions? Ask him.
He mentions if it was already considered a wetland, but I don't think it was just not being cropped or in production because it was county owned and it was just kind of the way the parcel worked out near the drainage district, wasn't it? I don't know for sure the full history.
Yeah.
He mentions the signed contract between us and ISG states that ISG will complete the permitting. So. Do we want to act on the recommendation from Spencer that we approve these two items? Right of entry right now.
Are we gonna get a bill for any of this?
We do, and then we send it off to Idols, and then we don't pay anything until we get
And
it.
we have to do some of this other stuff that they're talking about. Discharge pipes,
I thought they were.
pumping plan. I know that's what the intentions were, but now it seems like they're wanting more things. I just don't want us to cost us any money.
Trying to call Spencer and ask
I'd
him
say
about
so if
that.
he's concerned with that. Or we need to get the contracts out.
Yeah, is this number there on that email by chance? Hey Spencer, this is Rochelle from Osceola County. How are you? Good. I'm good too, thanks. Say, we're in a board meeting right now, and I'm looking over the Army Corps of Engineer, authorization to act as an agent in the right of way, and the board has some questions. Can I put you on speaker? And okay. Can you hear us, Spencer?
Yep, I sure can.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Spencer?
Spencer, will any of these extra things that the Corps is trying to possibly make us do cost the county any money?
No, that's a good question, Jerry. So right now, we actually we don't know exactly like what the Corps is going to require for the project. We've IDOLS and ISG has completed similar projects to this in the past, and we've had them permitted without too much of an issue. But really, to understand better about what they might require, we actually need to have a meeting with the Corps, and they're pretty particular about some of their rules. And so actually, like these documents here today are basically what we need to be able to represent the county to have those meetings with the Corps and talk with them. So that's kind of the first step. But like anything that they would require that would maybe be like a modification to the project, we would what I would anticipate happening is we would come back to the county and IDOLS with any of those modifications that were requirements of the Corps, and we would confirm that IDOLS is supportive of them and funding them. So I don't anticipate any like major design changes because of what the Corps is going to require for their permit. But if there are any, we would definitely run those by the county and IDOLS and just ensure that IDOLS would cover any additional costs. So that's kind of a long answer to your question of no, I don't think that anything coming out of any Corps meetings, at least at this time, would create any additional cost for the county.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or?
So yeah, I mean, maybe only thing I would just add is, yeah, really what we're looking for with these forms is just, this is kind of the board saying that that you're okay with ISG communicating with the Corps of Engineers, on your behalf for this project, and working with them to determine what the permitting requirements might be. We won't know the extent of that until we have a meeting with them, but we have, within our scope of work for the project, we had planned to do this core permitting. So this isn't necessarily unexpected, I guess, on our end. It's just kind of the next step in the process for us to work through. So.
Okay, that's all I have.
Interest in action on the request for the right-of-way and right of entry?
I'll make that motion. Support.
We have a motion from Helmer, support from Schulte to approve or give approval to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers right of entry. Any further discussion? If none, those in favor signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We also have a request from Spencer or ISG for approval of U.S. Army Corps of Engineers engineer authorizing ISG to act as an agent, our agent. Interest in that action.
Make that motion.
A motion from Loring, support from DeBoer for approval of that authorization to act as agent. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right. Thank you for your time, Spencer.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good
Yep.
one.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate
Bye.
it. Yep.
We have a request from ISAC for financial support of amicus brief. Discussion or thoughts on that request?
Refresh my memory, what's that amicus brief?
Quickly, I can say what this is. Shelby County and Story counties are challenging the Eighth Circuit panel's decision invalidating their zoning ordinances relating to hazardous liquid pipeline. The arguments presented are largely saying that they improperly based it on safety, which the county should have opportunity to address safety concerns. That's one of them. Sorry, Andre, I should put that item far sooner in the meeting.
No problem, I don't run anything anymore.
You drink, no
I'm
thanks.
drinking, I know, thanks.
points in this vein. When the pipeline discussion was starting, the ISAC supervisors affiliate worked with Iowa State to do soil compaction, land impact study at significant cost. That a request like this went out to counties for each county to consider contributing towards that. I think this is following that model. Not quite the exact same thing, but they make the argument that all counties could be impacted, if not by this project, possible future projects, so it's worth an answer on behalf of all counties. ISAC did not foresee this when budgeting, so supported it and paid for it, but would like to see wider support. And in that webinar, the law firm indicated that the $25,000 they charged at a capped price is a significant savings over what would likely amass when preparing to present something at the Supreme Court or to be involved in that process. So just some of the points for consideration. Is there interest in action on this item?
I don't know if I'm gonna word this right or not. By supporting this, we wouldn't open ourselves up to any other type of legal action, would we?
I'm not gonna speak for an attorney, but I can't see where we would.
I don't know, I'm just asking.
Anything we can do can open us up to a legal challenge, but no, this is helping to pay for a document presented to the court. I don't see where it joins us to either to the party or. Never wanting to take things simply. My mind says, well, these two counties took this on. I'm not saying they need to just sit there on their own. I do think it has implications for us, but what if we followed Jerry's model, let's split the cost? So if we divide the 25,000 into 12.5 and then figure out if all 99 counties contribute, I get 126, 26, 26. So if we consider 125 or the 500 that's requested, just thoughts.
I can see where it makes sense to go in more united than certain counties going by themselves.
We're really never united, we're just helping foot the bill.
Yeah, but it shows, to me, it shows more united than anything. To the courts that we
They won't know that we care.
sense that Jerry's not too interested in participating. Mike's considering it. Leroy, thoughts? Jeff?
Our county attorney weigh in on it?
I think I sent it to her, but I don't know if she got back to me on that.
There's somebody make a motion, or else we will.
I'd say let's split the difference and give them $250.
Is that a motion to provide a contribution of $250? A motion before us, I'll offer support. There's a motion from Schulte, support from Bandeuve to make a $250 donation or contribution to the request from ISAC concerning this amicus brief. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right. Here, the motion has passed 3-2. Next item is request for approval of Taylor Bradshaw, NP, and Nathan Peters, NP, as a medical examiner investigators.
They have already, both of them already have taken the class, so
Of which we participated in the cost.
we paid half.
I'll make a motion, we accept Taylor and Nathan as medical examiners. Support it.
Any further discussion on the role of Bradshaw and Peters as medical examiner investigators? Hearing none, those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay. Item 15 comes from the craziness of my mind to some extent, but also the practicality that UR6 was primarily used to support Ocheeden. Kind of first started when the school building was being vacated, and thoughts were to what would be done there. But they've used it in other ways for blighted efforts in the community, with their establishing a new UR area with the CFE bins. They've indicated that they won't be using this UR anymore. They do have a request for a draw this year. It would be the last one, and there would be about 3 years remaining by my looking at the documents. I think it's set to sunset in 29. Just wondered or want to get us thinking or have discussion as to are there ways we want to further utilize that UR area or projects? Shared with some, I've thought, is there a way to participate with the school? But I don't know that that's likely. Could be investigated. I don't know that it's likely, and I don't even know if it's the best thought, but just trying to come up with ideas. If the area is established and has some life left on it, is there something we want to do, or do we need to take steps to formally close it out if that partnership isn't going to continue?
Would you have any use for that, Keith?
We only have to maintain the center part of the roadway through town. We don't, the farm market extension, we have no other obligations. And we do that maintenance. We did a chip seal too there a couple years ago. But anything outside of that center laneage, sidewalks, utilities, everything like that's all city cheap. So it's not something we normally
That's the only thought I had for it, was if you needed it.
The north-south road is the only farm to market road through Ocheeden.
And the north end of that has gotten pretty rough. And
We have that in our capital program.
program for, what year?
28.
It's worth exploring if this could speed that process, freeing that up for other things, or not interested, or
Could carve it out and make it a standalone project.
earlier supported CFE. I think that's what's doing a lion's share of the wear on that road. But I don't know. It's out there. I think we need to be thinking about, and we owe the citizens. How do we want to utilize it, or are we gonna end it? But sorry, Mike.
That's my only thought. If Keith could use it, otherwise I'd say end it.
How much does it generate?
Should have had that.
I don't know
Said
for
it was
sure.
Around 100 something manually, but don't remember for sure.
I don't remember either. The city of Ochene hadn't needed that much, so we haven't been capturing everything that we could on that.
Document identified. When it started, and we authorized up to $650,000 for the Ochene support program and $25,000 for administrative costs borne by the county.
What is Ochene used for in the past?
Would I help with the school to tear that down and help, I don't know, any infrastructure
School
that's
bore the
new?
cost to tear it down.
Yeah.
But as far as redeveloping that property,
There's no specs, plans, and infrastructure on that.
zoning.
Ochene doesn't think that needed.
I think they have it paid off. I think
Oh.
they have it paid.
Tracy, how some of the new efforts they're using that CFE Bend site TIF revenues to support those.
I mean, we're too late for December 1 deadline, because we would have to amend, we would have
And it would
to,
be an amendment process.
yeah, we would have to hire lawyers and all that and start that process and public hearings and start all that process.
There's
for
a good
that.
chance we'll need that if we close it out too, though. I don't know if it can just sit out there being unused. So, why not? I had read something in here that kind of indicated action would be needed if it wasn't going to continue, but I don't find that bad.
You thought it's how much annually?
Check.
I don't know for sure.
Where projects fits, I think it's in the best interest of the county to consider them, but that doesn't mean we force issues or take on things that aren't necessary to.
Those are my only thoughts on it.
I can pull out the cost of that road segment from our capital program. Right now, it's all one, but I can pull out that segment and see what the cost is. Does this renewal cover all the way up to Highway 9?
I'm quite certain it does, unless it just does half of that road. How does that work? Then the road all the way up to 9, is that city limits?
The city limits do not go to Highway 9.
No, it does not. They do, but we didn't incorporate that. The road to the west, Tanager, is included, but not that extension to the north town, but
Okay.
that would, or could be part of an amendment.
So it could not, or you could amend to include that?
We would have to amend it anyway, because the project isn't identified in here.
Okay.
And why, we'd have to ask the attorneys, but I would think.
But nonetheless, I can get you the cost of that segment.
Because we wouldn't be looking at capitalizing on revenue from that, it's just identifying it as a project area within the UR. I think there's a difference between the. But it would. I guess we just need to give thought and be prepared to.
That would make sense.
That road, or in general? The north half mile or whatever. Well, we can gather a little information and probably have it on the future agenda to consider reaching out to outside counsel to see if there are possibilities or not. Anything further? Next item is claims. Roswell Water Service claim number 817. It's quite a thick packet.
Yeah, we had a lot of.
Corrections will do that.
Yep, corrections will do that.
There were two lowest markers before.
the one for Boston Water, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to pay that.
Motion from Schulte, support from Helmers for approval of claim 817 to Boswell Water Service. I'll abstain. Any discussion? None. Those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Approval. The remainder would remain or be for consideration.
Motion on the remaining.
I'll support that.
Motion from Loring, support from Helmers to approve the remainder of the claims. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none. Those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We have 10:30.
Let's see, I didn't see anybody out there.
Representative Family Crisis. Morning.
Morning.
With Family
Are you ready
Crisis?
for us, sir?
We are, yes.
Okay, awesome.
Sorry for a little mess in your way.
Last time I was here, there was a really interesting conversation. I can't remember what it was about, but that was happened
The last
before I
time that's
spoke.
happened here.
I doubt that very much. All right, I have a couple fact sheets to hand out here. Split them up between both sides. So, yeah, thanks for making time for us today. My name's Daniel Denboer. Oh, one more?
No.
Okay, let's do that. I got it. Yeah? Perfect. Okay. Yeah, like I was saying, my name's Daniel Denboer. I serve as the Director of Operations for Family Crisis Centers. SEPA's also joining us today. SEPA is a bilingual advocate in our domestic violence program. Primarily, here today to thank you for the partnership over the last fiscal year. It's partnerships like that that make our work possible, especially as we see other funding sources for our organization go up, go down. It's really the counties are kind of the strong foundation for us, and that's definitely true in Osceola here too. This year, we're asking for just a small increase in the partnership, in the funding, so an increase of about $250, so $3,750 for fiscal year 26. That's detailed in a letter that you should have received from our executive director previously. Talking a little bit about our services in Osceola, if you look at the fact sheet, you can see that broken down for you. So we have, there's an extra one. We served 10 citizens of Osceola in our domestic violence program last year, 3 in our homicide and violent crimes, 7 in our medical clinic outreach. We also run a housing program that served 6 individuals, and then we also run a 24/7, 365 crisis line call center, serving both survivors of domestic violence, sex assault, as well as a number of other things you can imagine. We end up doing a lot of different things in that organization, but we had 12 calls from this county in the last fiscal year. And so the letter breaks down a little bit of how we, this one doesn't this year, but we do break that down kind of per cost for Osceola County. That's how we arrive at that number. And we can detail that further if you have any interest in that. Talking about what this looks like, these services, in homicide and violent crimes, that serves a large category of people, or multiple categories. So obviously survivors of homicide, you'd think that kind of thing doesn't happen in Osceola very much, but when you start thinking about vehiculars and things like that, then it starts to make more sense. Beyond that, we also serve basically any crime that involves coercion or extortion. So we also end up serving survivors of sex abuse as well as like identity theft, for instance. And a lot of those identity theft crimes involve extortion and coercion. Beyond that, domestic violence is always a huge issue, and I don't know, Sipa, would you like to share a little bit about what that work looks like?
Yes, so like I said, I'm the bilingual advocate that covers Osceola County, and so my main job is to assist those Spanish-speaking clients that are in need, and I would make sure that there are the resources out there for them if they need to go to court or if they need to file a protection order. Then we come here to the courthouse. Many times I do some transportation too, so they can get to the courthouse or to get to a safe place, and then or assist them with their housing program. If they need to be either with a crime that they need to be reported to the police, we can assist them with that. We just guide them through the whole process of what that will entail.
Yeah, something about stat I always like to share related to domestic violence is it takes an average of 7 attempts for an abuse survivor to leave an abusive relationship. And so in SEPA's work and world, that can be a long time, multiple years we're talking about. We become involved before anything is ever reported to law enforcement in some situations, and then we stay involved for up to years afterwards if it does get reported. And so that's definitely like a lot of roller coaster work, a lot of ups and downs, but we really see it as our role to stay beside that person, offering them support, resources, the next step. Something that's really nice about having all these programs under one house is we see a ton of our folks go from, coming into FCC services in one area, in one program, but then they'll enter into our housing or they'll get served in the other ones as well. And so that's really beneficial to have those things together, that we can work together. One thing not detailed on here, but we're really excited about, is we just finished a massive renovation to our supervised visitation and exchange center. And so you can kind of, if you have eyes to see this sort of thing, you can kind of see custodial exchanges might happen at Casey's or at the library, or visits between parents who don't have custody of their kids are happening in those spaces. We saw a huge gap in that for our region, and so we've completed this massive renovation. It has state-of-the-art security, metal detectors. We follow pretty intense security protocols around ensuring that there's no contact between the parties. So we have separate parking lots, staggered arrival and departure times. And then I can personally tell you, having 3 kids all under the age of 11, it's like one of the funnest places in the world for kids to be. And so we offer that free of charge to really any situation that could make use of it. So we serve foster care parents as well in those spaces. One really cool situation is we ended up serving 2 siblings who were placed into different homes in foster care, and those parents didn't necessarily desire contact with each other, but they wanted those siblings to retain that relationship. And so for a few years, once a week, they would come to our center and they would spend that time and really focus on playing with each other and yeah, keeping that relationship intact. So this is, at a glance, again, what this partnership does for Osceola. And we're very, very excited to continue to offer these services to citizens of this county. But I'm happy to take any questions you might have at this time.
You might add something, just our services are all free.
Yes,
confidential. So that really makes it easier for our clients to come and reach out for us, is that we don't charge for any consult or intake or anything like that. So, any money that comes to us to help with that is appreciated.
Are these unduplicated numbers, or some
between
maybe
each other?
represented
Yes,
different
they're
categories? They are.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes some weeding through in our different reporting system, but what we arrive at for these reports are unduplicated.
But on the outside looking in, you don't hear about half of it.
Yeah, and that's we could say maybe that's a duty of our profession is to not let out this information. We have really high standards of confidentiality. We can get releases from the people we're working with. We get those most often to work with law enforcement, county attorneys especially, and then referral partners, therapists, counselors, those sort of spaces. But yeah, it's a professional obligation to not be very loud about what we do. SEPA, for instance, I didn't share her last name. It's not that she wouldn't want me to, but it's one of the standards of practices that we have. We just share our direct serving staff's first name, because if she's talking to somebody on the street, somebody knows what she does for work, now they've identified this person might be involved. And that actually creates a lethality risk for the other clients that she could be working with.
So maybe it's a joke, but I always tell my clients that if I ever see them at Walmart, I'm gonna ignore them. I'm not trying to be rude, but we're not friends. I'm here just to help you out in the situation that you need to be.
Sometimes, I think about, I use the word partnership because I think that's maybe the best way to talk about it. Sometimes we think about the work we do. You can put us in different boxes, right? We could be a charity, a nonprofit, but I also think of the way the work that we do, what we're doing for people can function like a utility, because we're going to show up no matter what. And then we have a 24/7, 365 in-person response for Osceola County. And so if we get that call from law enforcement, and we do, or we get that call from a survivor themselves, or if we get that call from a hospital, for instance, we show up within an hour's time and do that work with that survivor.
What was our donation last year?
It was $3,500. Confirmed donation or partnership we had.
I think you're requesting that for 26, 27, right?
I think we're requesting
Okay, I know, I think I got a letter from you already,
Correct,
I believe.
yeah,
I have
yeah.
that in my file. Okay.
Yeah, and I just took a quick look at the numbers this morning, because I just want to know that just for myself. So I have that sheet. So I have numbers going back to 22. But for 23, 24, and 25, the total was 3,500. So this year we're asking for an increase of 250. And that's, if I could speak a little bit more to that, part of this too is recognizing the funding streams that we do have. A lot of them are connected to federal legislation, so they're not taxed income. They're from plea agreements, fees, penalties. That gets dispersed to state attorney generals, and then those monies get dispersed to a lot of different things across the state. So you might, I don't know this to be true for Osceola, but for instance, a lot of counties and victim witness coordinators pay through those same funds. The problem with those funds is they get subject to politics at a federal level, right? And I'll just leave that at that. And so in general, we're recognizing partnerships, looking towards local control and private support is a more sure path. We also believe in being in partnership with governments at the local level. I think it's really, really important. We work with sheriffs a lot. We work with the sheriff in Osceola a lot.
We're founded and started kind of locally, correct? But aren't you statewide coverage now?
Good question. Our call center is statewide, and then we were formed in 1982. Just some people from a church recognizing the problem out there. Since then, we've grown and added these programs. But domestic violence covers kind of the northwest corner of Iowa. Homicide and violent crimes is the whole western third. Medical clinics localized to this area. Our housing is localized to this area. And then our call center is our visitation center is based out of Sioux Center. Any other questions I can answer for anybody? I believe you should have the return email from whoever sent you the letter. If you have any follow-up questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them at any time. But again, thank you for partnership, and we're looking forward to continuing to provide these services to Osceola.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion for the paper, that you bring down here, that you would
Oh,
prefer
yeah.
not last names to them, is that?
Oh, do you prefer your, it's up to you. My last name is fine. I'm less on the front.
I'd rather not have mine.
There you
No,
go.
that's, well, that's because I was busy, you said that, because I was
Yeah.
gonna ask.
No, I appreciate you asking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Under other business, gentlemen?
Jason, are you my, to the conservation board?
I do believe so.
We didn't have meetings yesterday, I got 3 meetings tonight, so.
Tonight? Because
What?
I'll talk to you afterwards.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Maybe I don't need you.
Well, I don't know, there might be a problem with one, so I gotta,
Okay.
we might need to figure that out here. Unless, yeah.
I'll talk to you afterwards.
Leroy's conservation alternate.
Okay.
I've been passed.
I'll see if I can look at, see.
Yeah, I.
Can't call me,
Oh.
call him too, so I'm not
Okay.
sure what's going on. I don't have anything else.
All right, then I'd look for a motion to adjourn. Motion from DeBoer, support from Loring for adjournment of the meeting. All those in favor, signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign.